right?
It is a vibe.
It's the vibe.
Yeah. Well, we have a special guest today, CJ Greaves.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Dude,
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome to have you, and it's great to be connected with you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Hitting it off on, especially at Viperfest, dude. You rocked on. Like when you brought the Pro 4 truck and you started spinning it around, you should have saw the crowd come and just
they were
gather
like
and watch
legitimately running to.
That's what we like.
To
That's
the
what it's all
festival.
about, right?
It was awesome. But yeah, dude, I want to learn about you and let everyone kind of learn more about you also. So you are the, correct me if I'm wrong, the most winningest racer
in short course, basically.
In short course, like,
yeah. So my dad's the winningest driver of all time across the board.
Competition, huh?
Yeah, and we've raced against each other for 8 years now already. So, and I'm 28. So
No shit.
since I was 20, I've been in the elite class. And this year, I broke the record. So there's been 2 people or 3 people all tied at 7 Pro 4 championships.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went 8 this year.
Let's go.
So
Congrats, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It was cool to be finally like take that next step and be like the only guy up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been crazy. I mean, I was glad to be able to come out here, be a part of Viperfest. That was my first time.
Yeah.
And heck, me and my buddy Capper, we repped Viperfest
Yeah,
in New Zealand, and people kept going like, "What is that? What is that?" I'm like, you won't understand it. You won't understand it. Whatever it was, they wouldn't allow that here.
Yeah,
so,
right.
So, but it was a lot of fun. So, yeah, I got started. My dad started in motocross as well, and that's where he got me started. So I started racing motocross at 2.5, and that was kind of my dream, was being pro motocross.
That's insane.
Just going through the ranks, I ran with Kawasaki and all these different teams throughout the ranks. And
so
then
2.5 years old. I'm like stuck on that. You're riding a dirt bike on a track in competition.
That was my first race. Yeah,
in
2.5.
a competition. Oh my god.
Do you even walk at 2.5?
I don't know.
Well, not everybody is a soul
barely
learner.
talk
Sam.
at 2.5.
Yeah, barely. The deal was, my dad said, if you can ride a bicycle, I'll get you a dirt bike. And the same day I rode a bicycle.
Yeah.
That's
This is what I'm being told anyways.
Toss
I
on
don't
a
remember.
motorcycle.
Yeah, we'll just throw a motor on it right away. No big deal.
So we went and got a dirt bike, and a couple weeks later, we lived in De Pere at that time. We had a motocross track in the backyard, and he let me ride out there, I guess. And he's like, all right, well, let's go to a race and see what happens.
Yeah.
And then I did one race, and then we waited till I was like 3 before we started like consecutively doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
So
3 is a
is
good
he-
age, right?
A little bit
He
better.
wasn't ready at 2.5,
Yeah.
so 6 months later.
Yeah. Let's do it again at 3 and see what happens. And then from there, I just started riding motocross a lot. That, like I said, that was kind of the goal, and the dream was to go professional motocross. And I surprisingly didn't get hurt a lot. Like, was really healthy. Was able to go to all the biggest races. Do fairly well at all of those. And then when I was 14, my dad's like, I think you need to get in a race car, and he bought me a super buggy.
Mm-hmm.
And
So is he racing at this point?
at that point,
in a car
he's
as
racing.
Well?
Yeah,
Okay.
he was probably in a truck by the time I was born.
No shit.
I would think
Wow.
in a
Yeah.
7S they called it back then, which was like a Tacoma.
Right. Right.
He was the first one to run a Toyota engine
No
in a
shit.
Toyota truck. They actually had to be like have stock frame rails and all that way back then.
Yeah.
So is that
And-
kind of like taboo? Like when Toyota came on the scene, like everybody's like
So everyone was
diehard Chevy
Rangers.
and Ford and
Everybody would race a Ranger.
yeah.
And he was the first one to do a Toyota. And he said it was all because he wanted a stick shift.
Mm-hmm.
He said all the Rangers were automatics or something, and they had all kinds of problems with them.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to try this
Yeah,
Toyota
try
Tacoma
manual,
out,
yeah.
see what happens. And it ended up sticking, and then it slowly progressed from there. And he just kept sending stuff to Toyota throughout the year. VHS tapes, he said. He just keeps sending them.
Yeah.
He just keeps sending them and sending them. Eventually, they bid on it.
No kidding.
And now he's the second longest Toyota-sponsored athlete behind Ivan Stewart.
Damn,
Wow.
that's awesome.
So he's been with them for I don't even know how many years.
That's just persistence and determination right there. Like
Absolutely.
you can't knock that at all. That's freaking awesome.
No, and one of the coolest things too is watching you and your dad race together. Like,
he doesn't take it easy on you.
no,
Oh,
and I love
absolutely
that.
not.
I love
Absolutely
that. This year at Crandon, it's just so cool. It's fucking. It like puts chills down your spine when you guys come around that first turn.
Turn one,
and
yeah.
like it's almost like you guys are like cheated or something. You guys are just always ahead. always like dominating. Like you're
It's
fucking
the home
good.
track, and they got the right equipment. Like that's the way it goes.
Well, the biggest thing is who's gonna lift first.
Yeah.
That's really who gets to start because coming off the line, you're all pretty equal for a long ways.
Yeah.
And then you look over and you see like where everyone's at, and there'll be times that you can't even see the next guy.
Yeah.
And when you lift, they just won't lift, and they'll beat you to the turn.
So basically, who's got the biggest set of nuts
Yeah.
coming around into turn 1?
Yeah. So like till this year, my dad's probably pulled 90% of the whole shots. He's crashed harder than anyone I know, more times than anyone I've known.
Yeah, so he had a big crash not too long ago, didn't
This
he?
year,
Yeah.
at the beginning of the year at
Yeah.
Anago. It was a brand new truck that we just built last year, and the track was really soft, and they didn't let anybody run on it, and it was just had these goofy like soft mushy spots in it, and it just caught and it flipped, and they didn't have a catch fence, so it ended up going over the wall. And I don't know if you've ever been to Anago before, but turn 1, so we were running it backwards, so we were going backwards through 1 and 2. There used to be a pond off the back. It was probably 50 feet down to the ground, so when it cleared the fence, the K-rail, it flipped all the way down and landed about 100 feet out at the bottom, just stuck in the mud. It was about probably the one side of the truck, it was laying on its driver's door down. If it would have landed on the other side, it would have been in water.
Holy cow.
No kidding.
So that had to be a hell of a ride.
Do you guys have a video of it?
Yeah, I do.
If you have a video, we should put it up.
Yeah, we'll toss it in.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
I'll send it to you afterwards.
Jeffrey had to see it too. He's over there, isn't he?
Yeah, so, and I was chasing him. It was during practice. So I stopped, unbuckled, jumped the wall, and ran down there.
Yeah.
Just during the middle of practice. I was the first one there by probably 2 minutes.
Yeah.
A minute,
Wow.
2 minutes. Yeah, for sure, probably a minute. And he ended up breaking 7 ribs.
Holy shit.
Collapsed his lung.
Damn.
And then broke his scapula.
Jesus.
So, and it was all from just when it flopped on its side. Because it was so high up, it just stuck. It never hit anymore. It just at the bottom.
Yeah.
So our seats wrap around us from the force of just landing on a side, crushed basically everything on this side.
So I would
and
assume there's
he's-
a catch fence on that turn.
No,
now.
there's still not. No.
Oh, damn.
And
They
to,
were running it backwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So he goes through that terrible crash, and next thing you know, he's back at Crandon.
Yeah, so
it's insane.
my cousin filled in for him, who's never raced a Pro 4 before. He runs Pro Light right now. His name's Kyle. And he filled in. We're just like, well, it's your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Time to shine.
Time
Yeah,
to
not
get
bad.
in here. And we strapped him in there, and he ended up getting 2 podiums that weekend.
No
Hell
kidding.
yeah.
And then he ran Crandon 2 weeks later. In the following race, my dad's like, "No, I'm running.
Yeah, give me it back.
I'm
Get out of the
getting
car,
there." So
yeah.
like the 3rd round, my dad was already back racing,
Yeah.
and he wore this like carbon fiber shell around
Yeah.
his ribs, and he just said he was good. You
Yeah.
could tell he wasn't,
Yeah.
but he said he was good all year. And I think the biggest thing is the new truck we built was based off of like my truck, and the driving style between a conventional 4-link that his truck was to mine's inverted. Everything's mounted to the bottom, so it changes your roll center to the bottom of the car. They drive a lot different, and he could not get used to it. And then when it flipped, obviously that was the first time he ever ran
Right.
it. Like we tested it a couple times, but that was it. And then it bit him right away. So then he was scared of it all year. It was
Yeah.
the first time ever that he's like, yeah, I was actually scared. I mean,
Yeah.
he's almost 60, so he has every right to be
Yeah.
Oh, for
after
sure.
going through all that. And you can only heal so fast so many times before you're like, maybe
Especially
maybe
at
I
that
need to-
age.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a little bit longer than when you're a
You
kid.
would think.
Have you ever taken a crash like that?
Never once. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
right?
thanks.
The
Dylan beat me to
opposite.
it, yeah.
My dad's like Mr. Hail Mary.
Yeah.
He's going to go for it. He's going to try to figure out how to win that race in the first lap or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm the opposite. I'll
Yeah.
wait till like literally 2 turns from the end, and I'll just mosey around for the first half of the race. And
Yeah.
then as my truck gets good and the track comes around, then I'll start picking people off. It's so funny because that's what everyone says. They're like, how are you and your son so different? We're literally polar opposites on the
Yeah.
track.
Yeah.
He's balls to the walls, go get it.
Yeah.
Like looks fast all the time, looks super wild, like out of control. And I'm the opposite. I look slow almost all the time. And
Just a little more strategic.
Yeah, a little more strategic and end up running really fast.
Right.
But I'm in control the whole time and smooth. So it doesn't look near as entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
But-
Dad's just balls to the wall.
Dude, he is 110%. That's still how he is. He's the only person I know that'll race all year, and then come back and be like 2 days later, be like, you want to go up north and go rip the UTVs through the woods? I'm like, no, I just raced all year long. Like, like, what do you mean? And then 2 days later, he'd be like, hey, you want to go again? Like,
still a kid inside, dude.
Just,
yeah, 100%.
Just loves it.
Well, that just shows his passion for it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
That's his life. Like, that's freaking awesome.
So right out of pretty much the womb, you're on a bike.
Yeah.
So 3 years old, then you're racing the bike, and then at 12, 14, your dad says, hey, I want to put you in a buggy.
Yep.
And then.
And at that point, there was a race coming in 2 weeks. And I've never driven one or anything. And he's like, we're going to go out. We went to this track in this field in California. At this time, we had a house in Temecula because a lot of the racing was out west. And we go there, and I jump in, and I'm driving around, and he stops me. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, do you not know how to shift or like anything? And I'm like, no, I don't. And he just chuckles to himself, and he goes, oh, yeah, I should probably teach you some stuff, huh?
Dad, I'm hardly a teenager.
I didn't even know like where I knew where first gear was, and I'm kind of looking at the shifter like,
figure it out.
I don't know. And super buggies have a steering brake in them too, so you can lock up each wheel individually in the rear.
Oh, wow.
So that because they're a rear engine car, they don't want to steer real well, and they make a ton of grip. So there's that lever right next to the shifter, and then all 3 pedals down there. And he's like, "What? You don't know what you're doing?" I'm like, "No,
I think
I
I
really
lost
don't know what I'm
it. Yeah,
doing."
myself. Yeah.
So then he chuckles to himself and goes, all right, and explains it all to me. And then it gets a lot better from there. So I end up going to that race 2 weeks later. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I ended up having 3 16th birthdays because till like probably the last 3-4 years, no one really knew how old I was.
Right.
Because I had to be 16 to race. So, and we asked them, we're like, so you need like, what do you need for proof? They're like, oh, we just need a copy of your birth certificate. So my mom copied it and scanned it a bunch of times and just kept whiting out
I was
the
gonna say, it's
the
amazing
year.
what some whiteout can do.
Yeah, and just kept scanning it and then bought a typewriter and put it in there so it punched the letters the same.
Damn, dedication to the
Dude,
game, huh?
Dedication.
Let's go.
And just kept scanning it until it looked legit and brought it in there, and they're like, all right, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I'm sure they didn't examine it. Like,
No,
just,
it
looks good.
They knew. Like, they're like, we know
I thought
this
you were
kid's
16
not.
last year and
Yeah.
the year before.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
When I actually had my
Fucking
16th birthday,
hilarious.
everyone just looked at me like,
Really?
you've been 16 for a
Yeah,
long
yeah.
time.
You're 21 by now.
Yeah. So I ended up doing that race and ended up getting second right out of the gate the first night,
Holy shit.
battling for the lead.
And that's in California?
Yeah, that was at Paris Motor Speedway.
Okay.
So it took a month to learn, and you're already getting
Yeah.
on the podium.
Yeah, it was
And
good.
he's younger than everybody
12,
else.
yeah.
Yeah, like the people I was racing against were in their 40s already at that point.
Well,
There
you're at a
is
huge
no
weight
kids.
advantage too, right?
Yeah, well, there's a minimum weight, so we
Oh,
just
there
had to
is.
stack some lead on there to make
Yep.
up for it. But and there was no kids classes back then. Now there's like UTVs, there's the kids carts, the mod carts, and then you get into like sportsman, pro-am UTV, and then you go through the ranks. So this is what's considered now pro buggy, is what I started in, and that's just what we
Gosh,
had.
see,
Yeah.
imagine
That's
if
so
you were to
wild.
start out with the other kids. That would have been sad. Just would have been destroying them, dude.
You never know. You never know. But so I ended up doing that, and then from that point on, the next year I ran a full season of Super Buggy and started. My sponsors were actually like almost competing against my dad's, so we had to have 2 separate teams.
Oh, okay.
So I had my own rig and my own crew and everything for the most part. That was just my stuff, and then my dad had the Monster Toyota team that was still going over there. At that time, we had I think Jeremy McGrath drove for our Pro 2. So we've had a lot of cool people come through the ranks and drive. I mean, we've had Ryan Villapoto drive some of our stuff.
Yeah.
Jeremy McGrath, Mike Metzger, the old freestyle
Yeah,
guy. The lady that owns Patron, she's a drag.
Alexis DeJoria.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she came to Crandon and Bark River with us a couple times.
That's awesome.
That's
We
wild, yeah.
used to sponsor their Drake team for Clitter racing. I think she's sponsored by Toyota as well.
Yeah.
Yep, she's Toyota.
So how do the teams work? So you're saying that your dad has his team, and then you're on a different team to start. So how do the teams work? Like, how does it feel getting sponsorships? And then do you have your own team right now?
No, we're all one.
Oh, it's still all one?
Yep. So there, I actually got my title sponsor was Traxxas, and I was a kid, right? I loved RC cars.
Yeah.
So I knew the owner's kid really well. We were really good friends just from running around playing at the track. And I went up to him like, hey, I'm going to race a Super Bug. You want to sponsor me? And he ended up getting on board. For the first 3 years, all my stuff was fully wrapped Traxxas top
That's
to
awesome.
bottom. So he really helped me out and really got me into it. And helped get the ball rolling there.
Yeah.
And then I ran the first year of just Super Buggy, and then year 2 I ran Super Buggy and Pro Light, which is the small pro
Right.
truck. And then the following year is when I moved to my dad's team and went Pro Light, Pro 2, and I ran that for 2 years, and then I went Pro 2, Pro 4 from there on in.
No kidding.
And then eventually dropped the Pro 2 when UTV started to get popular and signed with Factory Yamaha and ran with them for 6 years, and now going on to year 3 with Factory Polaris.
Let's go.
So what was the biggest change, I guess, going from class to class? I would assume going to the trucks had to be from buggy to Pro 2s or Pro Lights or whatever had to be a pretty crazy change. What took the most for you to get used to?
Probably going Pro 2 to Pro 4
Yeah?
because a Pro Buggy and a Pro Light are real similar. I mean, one's obviously solid axle front engine and one's transaxle rear engine, but everything was 2-wheel drive, similar horsepower, kind of similar size. A Super Buggy is basically a Pro Light without a body on it and a rear engine. They're about as wide, about as long. And then even going to the Pro 2 from a Pro Light, the Pro 2 was so much bigger. It was wider, it was more stable. It had more power, so it took a little bit getting used to making traction and keeping it hooked up, but it wasn't the driving style was pretty much the same across the board.
From 2 drive wheels to 4 drive wheels, that's the biggest change.
And I think the best way to explain it is when Kyle ran for us this year for 2 weekends, I asked him, so what do you think? He goes, I don't know why you guys do it. I'm like, what do you mean? It's freaking sick.
Yeah.
It's so much fun. He's like,
Yeah.
he's like, no, I don't know why you guys do it. He's like, there's a level of commitment that it takes to drive one of these things fast. And he's like, I'm not ready to do it. No, I don't know why you guys do that.
Yeah.
So that was the biggest learning curve, even through my career, was going from Pro 2 to Pro 4. Pro 2 is the best way to explain it is like a ballerina dance. You're chasing the cushion. Everyone's really smooth. You don't make anything big drastic changes, right? They don't make a ton of grip. You have way too much horsepower. When I ran them, they're open motors, so we ran the same engine in our Pro 4s. We did a Pro 2, and we were on Project tires, which now we're on DOTs.
No traction.
Projects made more traction.
Oh, they did? Okay.
They started as a slick.
Yeah.
And you can get them in whatever compound you wanted, and then you just grooved whatever tread pattern you could imagine into them. So it was the ballerina dance is the best way to put Pro 2. Whoever could keep it right on the edge of the cushion, not make any big mistakes. And then Pro 4 is like a really bad WWE match.
Just a rough machine.
Brute force. Yeah.
Just anything you think that possibly could happen probably will at some point during one of those races.
Yeah, you got power going to all 4 wheels. That's a different animal.
You got traction. You can change direction almost anytime you want.
Yeah.
You got more horsepower than you know what to do with. You have enough suspension and width that you can about hit any jump wide open, and it might hurt, but it's not gonna kill you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So anything you can imagine happening can in a Pro 4 race. So you go from watching all these Pro 2s nice and smooth and hardly even rubbing each other to just uncontrolled chaos.
Yeah.
So that took a lot to get used to, just that commitment of how you have to drive a Pro 4. The best example is anyone that's been to Crandon going into what we call the gravel pit after you go around the top and you go off the skyboxes coming in there. There'll be days that we're already backwards before we even go past the dirt mound.
Yeah.
And then you go slide in there because you're doing 90 miles an hour.
Jesus.
And what's the easier way? Instead of hit the brake, just throw it.
Slide. Yeah.
It'll scrub speed.
Right.
And if you need more speed scrub, just keep turning backwards until it starts digging the other way and then head her on out.
I love that.
There's a lot more that goes into it too with and correct me if I'm wrong too on the gear side of things. So it depends if the track's dry or if the track's wet. So is there a big variance depending on Pro 2 versus Pro 4, dialing in that gear ratio?
Yeah, so Pro 2 runs a Turbo 400. So it's like a shift, for anyone that doesn't know, it's like a shiftable automatic. It's a 3-speed, has a torque converter. And that's one of the biggest things in Pro 2 is getting your gearing and torque converter good. I won 3 consecutive years in Pro 2 before I moved out, and we had quick change gears on the back of the tranny, out the bottom of the underdrive, and we would change for 3 mile an hour. It would get to that point where you just need that little bit because you never wanted to be on the chip, but you never wanted it to be bogging either, right? Out of the power zone. So that's where it got really, really picky. And then our torque converters are all billet, take apart. We'd have a box of stators sitting there.
Yeah.
And depending on the track and your driving style, I was very fortunate that I liked a really tight torque converter, and I would rather just pedal it. Where there's a lot of people, especially now, that would just want to hold it to the floor, hold it wide open, and then make the converter make traction for you. Well, that's really, really hard to tune, because if you miss it or the track gains grip, now you're just slow, and there's nothing you can do about it other than make a whole lot of heat.
Right.
So
Heat is bad.
Heat is bad. Yeah. So that I was fortunate enough that I liked a tighter torque converter and would rather just pedal it.
Yeah.
Where moving into the Pro 4 side, we all run a gearbox.
Yeah.
We all run a 5 or 6 speed sequential with a clutch on the floor.
Oh, no kidding.
And you
That's fucking
not
real racing,
not in the power,
Yeah.
just downshift the gear and let's go.
Yeah.
You
Love
can
it.
go to any track and just pick a gear.
Yeah. So for those listening too, I want to touch base on that final race at Crandon, or I mean any of the tracks that you do. So why do they do it where one, they combine the Pro 2 and Pro 4 for the final race?
Yeah.
And why do they let Pro 2 go, I think it's like 15 or 20 seconds before Pro 4 or something like that? Oh, it's 50?
It was 50.
Damn, and
this
Pro
year.
4 still catches
didn't
up.
a Pro 2 win this year, too? At
Yeah,
Crandon?
Pro 2
Well,
won.
he beat his dad
You did.
at a Pro. Well, you had a
in
Pro
a
2,
Pro
didn't
2
you?
in 2013.
Yeah.
2013? Damn. What's
So-
that conversation like when you get back to the trailer?
Oh, it's good.
It's good.
Our biggest thing, and I think that's probably what has kept our team so well, is that from day one, my dad just pounded it in my head that all the money and all the sponsors all come back to the same house, right?
Yeah.
So if you go out there and smash me, all that did is cost us all money.
Right.
There was no gain there. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't like an outside team that knocked you off the podium and they wrecked a bedside, but they got on the podium and you
Yeah.
didn't. No, it's all the same basket that we're pulling from here.
Right.
So that's what's kept our team and our driving style and everything, I think, so cordial with each other. Is it's like, by me running into you, it doesn't gain anything. If you're on the podium or you win and I get second or vice versa, we both win. It's
sure.
a win-win for the
course.
team.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to, is our sponsors, our team, the people that support us. Like, it's about making sure that
Yeah.
we keep our all our irons in the fire for the same reason.
Yeah.
Right? So that's went a long ways with it, where a lot of people don't see that side and they go out there and they just smash the shit out of each other. And you come back and you're like, well, that race was really no fun.
Yeah.
We all lost 3/4 of the body. That's $1,000.
Yeah.
And we got like 4th and 5th. Like,
Right.
sweet. That was for nothing, right?
So in 2013, you were 18 and you beat
Yeah.
your dad.
So
That's
that was our first
in
ever
Pro
cup
2
race.
too. That's
That
that's
was
just
the
crazy, dude.
first ever cup race I ever did. And my Pro 2 was really good that year. And he gave it to me. Let's start here. Let's start here, because at the end of the day, whether he won or I won, the purse was the same, right?
Right,
The other guy
yeah.
was going to get second regardless. So the picture that goes around is, you still see it, is we're dead side by side at
Yeah.
the finish, and no one even knew who won. And I remember to this day, like distinctively, like with a lap to go, maybe 2 laps to go, my spotter came on the radio and said, it's just you and your dad. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you guys are gone, like checked out.
Holy shit.
And I had a big lead already. And he's like, your dad's in second and he's coming, but there's no one behind him.
No
It's just
kid.
you guys.
Damn.
So I was like, all right, that's going to be pretty sweet. And I knew he was going to catch me, like
Yeah.
only a matter of time. But he made a race out of it and made a sweet picture and a story to go along with it. So it was pretty unreal. I don't think to this day there's been a race like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Quite to that. But to go back to the race itself, it only happens at Crandon.
Oh, is it
It's
okay?
the only track that does it. They do it in the spring and the fall. A different company sponsors it both times. The spring
Nice.
run doesn't pay near as what the fall run does. But a lot of people come just to see the cup race. They love the cup
Dude,
race.
it's the best. I'm glad they do it that way too. Is it just adds? It's more action. It's
hell yeah,
way
it
more
is.
Yeah.
entertaining. Like not
Even to
only
watch.
even to watch, yeah, you get the Pro 2 coming down and then the Pro 4 right after, and seeing all you guys slowly but surely catch up to the Pro 2 is the coolest. It's so sick.
Yeah, and you gotta the Pro 4s. We all gotta work our way through the Pro 2s, and
Yeah.
it's always a dogfight of like how much of a fight are they gonna put up.
Right.
And a big thing is what is the track gonna do? If the track goes slick from top to bottom, and we all gotta run the cushion, it gets ugly.
Yeah.
Because there's only one line there's only one fast line, and the Pro 2s are going to be out on the cushion. And if you're going to pass them, you're going to the same spot they are.
Yeah.
Where when the track ends up having a little more grip on the bottom, we can all the Pro 4s will just go to the bottom and we'll beat them out of the turn, and we never even have to fuck
touch
with
them.
them.
Yeah.
Right? You just go in there, you go to the bottom, you set it up, and you go. Where when the track goes slick, it makes it a rowdy
I
race
bet.
because you're both fighting for the same space.
Yeah.
But and it just comes down to they change the gap every year. They try to go off qualifying the fastest Pro 2 to the fastest Pro 4 during the race, our fastest laps, and then they put it on 10 laps, and they try to give or take a little bit for the amount of cars that are in there for the Pro 4s, and it's a crapshoot every time. And a lot of it comes down to there's been a lot of races that Pro 2s probably should have won, and they didn't, but it's because they didn't have a good race. Like last year, 2023 or 2022 when we won it, a lot of people were mad because we won the spring run too in Pro 4s. It's won a couple years now that Pro 4s have won.
Yeah.
But no one has went back and like watched the race of like, okay, last year Mickey Thomas had the fastest truck and he over-rotated twice.
Right.
Didn't get the start, was trying to pass a guy, over-rotated twice. When he fell back, he would run fast laps, and off of his fastest lap to ours, he should have won.
Right.
But he couldn't put together a
So
clean
there were
race.
just minor mistakes in
It's a
there
driver.
that added
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
For a Pro 2, it's a lot harder to have a perfect race, right? Like
Yeah.
a Pro 2, you need to pull the whole shot. Like Keegan this year won the Cup race right from Crandon, and he pulled the whole shot, so you don't have to mess with anybody and let every lap. Then it's up to you.
Yep.
You just do your thing. You run your lines. You're not racing with anybody. It's 100% up to you. If you don't get the start right from the get-go, you kind of
Yeah, you're playing catch up.
you're gonna. It's gonna be really, really hard to win it, regardless, because now not only if you have the fastest truck, you have to pass that guy and do it in a reasonable manner that you're not slowing each other up.
Yeah.
Because the Pro 4s are coming.
Mhm.
Right.
It's only a matter of time. They're coming. So, and it goes the same with the Pro 4s. If we, one of the big things that we all try to sit down, like a couple of top contenders anyways, like this year, me and RJ, before the race, were like, whoever gets the start, we just can't slow each other up. If we want a chance to win, we can't slow each other up. Whatever it takes, whether I got to chase you for a while or you got to chase me, I'm not going to race with you.
Right.
If I'm that much faster and I can pass you in one turn and go, we're still going to race. But we're not going to sit here and battle it out with each other for 3-4 laps because we're never going to catch them.
Smash your trucks up and everything.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. You ain't going to win then.
Right.
And even this year, he pulled the whole shot, and I got around him right away.
Yep.
And started getting out front and ended up getting up flat. And he told me afterwards that with like 3 laps to go, he already gave up. I was like, I'm not going to catch him. I was watching the gap. My spotter was telling me the gap. And then he said with a lap and a half to go,
I remember
he realized he could have won
Yeah.
if he went to laid up. It
Oh,
got
shit.
pretty close. It wasn't really close,
Yeah.
but if he would have been able to run the pace we were running when he was chasing me, we would have caught the leader. But that's what it takes. I mean, it takes a perfect run
sure.
and to like mentally stay in it the whole time and just race to the end. That's one thing my spotter Devin has always, one of the best things he's ever done for me is just always like, no matter where we're at in the race, he's like, just don't give up. Give me 110% till the checkered flag. Whatever happens, happens. But if you don't, that's when you
cost
could
you.
have, right? You would have, could have, should
You
have.
guarantee yourself a loss. You guarantee that you're not gonna finish. There's no opportunity anymore for you to take a lead.
Right.
So
So
you're sitting on that starting line, big race. What's going through your head? Because sometimes, I mean, they dig the dog on time. Like they'll
they're
take.
at Crandon time, baby.
Yeah.
The restart's got to be.
The restarts take forever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so are you anxious? Are you ready to go? Like, do you have music playing?
I'm
What's
just-
going through?
Empty-minded. I think
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so long. I mean, I'm 13 years in or 14 years in now, and from day one, we've had to do the land rush start at Crandon. So it's just, we used to land rush a lot of tracks, and now we're down to a 2x2 start everywhere other than
Oh, gotcha.
Crandon. In Crandon, we only do 1 land rush. If it doesn't work, you go 2x2 now.
Gotcha.
So you are anxious,
yeah.
right? Like to start of
Rightfully so.
anything, right?
Yeah.
To start of anything, but for the most part, there's a lot of people that are all freaked out and on the edge of their seat and like almost get in their own head. I'm
Ready to go.
super monotone. Just
Yeah.
that's just the way I am. I think it's been
Just another
my,
race.
My
Yep.
heartbeat just goes like this. I think the whole time. I
Steady.
want to wear a heartbeat monitor during one of the races just to log it, just for the fun of it, to see what it's really at, because it's
damn, he's calm. Is he awake?
Yeah,
He's
literally.
sleeping in there.
So a lot of the times we'll fall asleep in the truck waiting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're all strapped in and the seats are so tight, and
Yeah, you're probably comfy. Like,
Kinda
shit,
comfy.
I'm kind of.
yeah, the suits like on a day that's like 60
Yeah.
or mid 60s. Oh, it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
Man. You got a little bit of the truck heat.
Yeah.
You're in this nice thick suit and you're just like cozied away in there. That and
CJ
they
Greaves
take
didn't get off the
forever.
line.
Yeah,
Fucking sleeping.
Fell asleep.
And he catches up and beats everybody anyways.
Like there's times that my spotter's like, "Hey, are you awake in there?" And it's like, "Oh shit, yeah, I am now."
Well, are those suits air conditioned? Because
Nothing.
Really, it's
Nothing.
like pretty.
Oh,
This
man,
year
it's
was
in there,
hot.
too.
This year was
brutal.
hot, wasn't it?
Yeah, our
It
last
was.
race was in Jay, Oklahoma, and it was humid and it rained like majority of the time we were there. We ended up getting one race day in, and it was 90s. And I said
insane.
by the end of the day, so we were supposed to practice and qualify on Friday, and it got rained out, and we ended up racing Saturday evening. But they did a late practice at like 2 on Saturday, and then we raced at 4. So once it finally started, it was like nonstop. Like it was clean the cars after practice, nut and bolt, make
Right.
any changes you got to change, and then it's ready to go for the races.
Right.
And you hardly even got time to change out of your suit. And by then I run 3 classes, and they all run fairly close. By the time I got done Saturday night, I was out of sweat. Like my
I
body
bet.
was just burning,
Yeah.
and there was no sweat left to be in there.
Holy shit.
And my
Yeah.
suit and my helmet was so heavy.
I bet.
Because it was, like I said, mid 90s, and then our suits are 7 layers. And,
shit.
And they have to be cuffed on your hands and your feet, and
Yeah.
then you wear fire gloves that go over
Zero
it.
ventilation.
Zero airflow.
Yeah.
And then our helmets have skirts on them that hang over, and
Yeah.
everything's fire retardant. That's what
Right.
it's for,
Yeah.
is a fire, right? Your shoes, everything. So there's zero airflow. The best thing you got is our helmet blowers that go on your helmet
Yeah.
that help blow air in there. But by the minute you leave the line, you don't even know what's
Yeah,
going.
your mind's on it now.
Right. Right.
And I only run it in one of my cars. The
Yeah.
other 2, I just wing it.
Yeah.
That's the go-to. But so it gets hot. It gets hot real quick
Wow.
for sure. The trucks. That was the first time ever. My foot and my leg. What obviously in the truck you have the header right next to you.
Yeah.
Was on fire. Like it was. My foot
During
was
the race?
burning.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
burning. My
yeah.
calf was like physically burning. There's been races that people, even though your suit doesn't burn, the heat will physically boil your
Go
skin
through
under
it?
your
No
suit.
kidding.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like,
the-
no, you don't want to put a heat shield there or anything?
You try the best you can, but
Yeah.
I mean, you think that header's just screaming
Yeah.
The
Balls to the
whole
wall
time,
for
yeah.
9,800 RPM for 15 minutes, glowing red hot. I mean, we header wrap them, and then we run aluminum in between there, and we'll put reflective heat tape and all that on there.
Still,
But still,
You
goes
win
through
some,
it.
you lose some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do all you can.
So what are the regulations on Pro 2 and Pro 4 for like engine modifications? Is everybody running the same thing? Are
Anything
there
you want.
certain restrictions? It's free game?
Yeah, it's 10 pounds per cubic inch.
Okay.
So you run a 418, you got to be 4,180 pounds. And you want to run a 420, you got to be 4,200 pounds.
Interesting.
So it's all pounds per cubic inch, and that's Pro 4. And then Pro 2 has always been the same. And they recently went to a 410. You have to run a 410. It has to have Soda heads. Soda's a brand that
Yeah.
has this like marking, and you can run a Ford or a Chevy in it. And the bottom end's open, and the top end's got to be a Soda head with a mandated throttle body and fuel injection on it.
Gotcha.
All naturally aspirated.
Yes.
So how come there isn't like a push towards like, because you see in a lot of other racing and people are turboing everything.
We don't need any more power.
Don't need
Yeah, I
more
was going to
power.
say you're
No.
already at 900.
Yeah, we don't really need any more power. And like the UTVs, Pro Turbo, obviously is turboed.
Yeah.
But they just don't drive near as good. If we could competitively make an NA engine that competed in Pro Turbo, none of us would run a turbo.
Yeah.
Without having like some sort of anti-lag system, there's just no drivability to them on a track like we're on, where we're on and off the
It just
gas
takes too
so
long
much.
to spool up, yeah.
Yeah, and you just get turbo lag and inconsistencies. It makes it really hard to
Yeah.
And
control
it's just
it.
a whole nother system
That
where
makes
there's-
heat.
That makes heat
Yeah.
and could potentially fail.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that you can do whatever modifications, because then it really comes down to the team, you
Yeah.
know, and that makes you push your team to the next level to make sure that you got that thing dialed in to be the track winner, you know, where like NASCAR, I'm pretty sure is
pretty well
everybody's
spec.
everybody is the same.
Running the same
You know,
shit.
and like that's why the races are arguably kind of boring.
Yeah,
Where like
yeah.
Pro 4 is fun because the best teams win. The people that are putting the time in, that are like have it down to a science, are the ones that
Come
yield the
through.
victory.
Yeah, and Pro 4's crazy. So we're building my new truck right now because my truck's sold, and you start from nothing.
Yeah.
We build everything in house. We have we just have a big flat steel table, and you just lay a couple
Start,
tubes
yeah.
on there. We get all of our steel just in straight stock and
Nice.
You bend
And
it, notch it, and
bend it,
fit
notch it, fit it,
That's
weld
awesome.
it,
I love
everything
that.
in house.
So what gets you to the point of wanting to sell and redo it?
Usually it's somebody else that just wants to buy it.
Oh, you're like
When
screw
there's
it,
a
use the
buyer.
money. Yeah.
Yeah, like Pro 4s, the class has been very like up and down. It's the elite class, and a lot of people have come into it, and companies like big companies and spent $2 million in a year, and then didn't win, and then have went around and badmouthed the class for forever, and are like, nah, we spent this much money and we're still not competitive. Just think what they're spending, and when really it has nothing to do with it.
Right.
We've ran the same trannies. Our front diffs have had 4 or 5 years on them, same ones we.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, our trannies, all we do is, so we have 2 full-time employees, my dad and myself. I do anything UTV related. So from loading the trailer, mounting tires, prepping the cars, getting the cars built, set up, clutching,
Yeah.
anything that my guys don't know nothing about my UTV stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mechanic, Devin, works on my Pro 4. My dad's mechanic, Brad, works on his Pro 4. And then during the off season, my dad and I kind of are like the tube slingers
Yeah.
and get everything started, and they follow behind and weld everything. And once we get the base set up, then they'll go through and start mounting stuff, or we'll get it all tacked in there for them, and then they'll just
Yeah.
follow behind really and
Dude.
do all the fit and finish.
I love that you're working with the team. You know, it's
Absolutely.
not like the team's
Yeah.
getting your truck ready and then you hop in it, you go to drive
Yeah,
it. Like,
tell me where I got to be. I'll fly in and drive it.
yeah, seriously, you're doing the nitty gritty shit that
Yeah.
it requires.
We can all build a race truck in our shop. Any one of us,
Yeah.
whether the other guy wasn't there, we can all TIG weld start to finish. We can all, if we had to, we could build 4 cars at the same time.
That's
Wow.
awesome. Love that.
And never have to.
That's one thing you said that I think you said in a different podcast, where when you're racing, you always have it in the back of your head that you want to drive hard and be competitive, but you also don't want to wad it up because you got to fix it.
Yeah,
right. So
absolutely.
like that's always there. Like shit, if I wreck this thing, I'm going to be the one fixing it.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of the really good drivers have that like separated us, were the guys that work on their own stuff and know their car through and through, right? Like every time you hear a noise or you feel something that's goofy, there's a good chance you know where to look,
Yep.
right? Or you can come back and go, hey, this happened. Like on race weekends, we have volunteers and some good friends that come in that prep my stuff, only because I got a lot of other shit going on,
for
right?
sure.
So, and I can come back and they just do whatever I say. All right, I felt this, probably check this wheel bearing or check this knuckle or check the slop in this.
Right.
And this is the setup change I want to make. And then they're there to do it while I'm getting all my stuff ready. But someone that doesn't have, like we've worked with a lot of drivers. That's something that my dad and I really like to do and have had a lot of experience doing, was help develop new drivers and
Yep.
get them into the industry and get them headed on the right path. Is when you get someone that really has no idea, you come back and you're like, so what do you think?
Yeah.
Like we can watch it from the outside and be like, the truck looks like it's doing this. Does it feel that way? And they go, well, I don't know. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
You don't know what tweaks to make.
Right. And then it's like, you'll see times that the truck's out there broke and the guys just like keep going. And it's like, what are you doing?
Right.
All you're doing is costing yourself money.
Yeah, more money.
Your team's got to stay up now
Yeah.
till most of the time we don't race till anywhere from 4 to 6 in the evening. So by the time you get the truck tore apart, cleaned up, and then you start working on it, it's 2 a.m. before your guys are going to bed. So now you're
burning the team out.
you're
Yeah.
burning everybody out.
Yeah.
They're pissed off because you don't have any respect for the work that they're doing,
Yeah.
and it just keeps whirlwinding around until it's a mess, right?
Yeah.
Until you got guys that don't really have pride in their work anymore because they know you're just going to go out there and wreck it, and you don't care either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Slap it together, get you out there.
yep,
and-
make the start, right?
Yeah.
And they're
Yeah.
like, as long as he makes the start, I get to collect my paycheck. Well, that's not the way you want it to be.
Yeah, no.
So
Right.
it's got to be that equal respect back and forth of like, all right, I need to go out here and race hard, but I also know that I don't want to wreck this thing because
No.
then he's going to be pissed off. He's got to stay up all night
Yeah.
and work on it. And what did I gain?
Right.
I didn't win because I wadded it up, and
Mhm.
it cost us a bunch of money, him a bunch of work and time, and
Yeah.
it's a no-win situation.
So how does that work then if you do wad something up? Like, do your sponsors help with that, or is that pretty much on your guys' end?
You try to budget your race team right from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
You try to get enough sponsors up front that they kind of cover your racing part to make sure you get to all the races and you can afford to get there and race. And then we like to leave it on the side of you want to make money doing it, you got to win.
Yeah.
You got to go out there, and it's all performance-based. That's how a lot of the sponsors in this industry work is they don't like to, which every right? They don't like to front a bunch of money and go, here's a bunch of money right up front, because then it's like, well, what if you have a shit year and your attitude goes away because you already have the money?
Right.
They like to do it like you get, say, an extra $3,000 if you win, $2,000 for second, $1,000 for
Incentives,
third.
just like they
for
do
sure.
in the NFL
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah,
You
right.
place X amount of downs or do this good during seasons. You got the carrot dangling in front
Yeah.
of you, right? They go for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and that's what like keeps you in the level mindset of like, we need to make sure that we come to the race, every race with our A game, set up,
Yep.
ready to go, because if I suck, then I don't make any money doing it either.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
a
nobody
no
wants to be
win.
a part of a losing team. Like,
Right,
let's be honest
right.
here. And
Yeah.
if you don't bring your A game, your competition is.
Right.
So
Or your team's gonna be like, damn, why am I doing this?
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the
Right.
biggest thing, like with our team being so small and we have like a mutual respect for each other. Like if Devin thought that I wasn't giving 100%, it's going to make him not want to give 100%, right? So we're on the same page that regardless of what the results show that day, we're going to go out there. I'm going to give it my absolute best. He's going to make sure the truck is the best it possibly can out of his hands when it's
Yeah.
ready to go. And whatever happens from there, happens from there.
It's cool because you guys not only are you and your dad awesome racers, but you're also running a company
Yeah.
essentially. You know, if you look at it from that way, you have sponsorships, but that doesn't cover you for the entire year. You know,
Right.
if you both crash or something happens, like
You're busting your ass
you're
to get it
busting your
ready
ass.
to go.
Exactly. And you guys have a lean operation, it sounds like, because you and your dad are in the nitty gritty helping fix everything. So that's 2 less employees that you have to have paying.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. And it makes it run well for us. I mean, in the off season, obviously we're not racing and making money then. So our shop's open. We're a actual like fab shop, like a race shop.
Yep.
So we'll build. In prior years, we've cut back lately. Anywhere from we're busting out 2 side-by-sides a week,
Oh, nice.
like full-on race cars.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the customer, we worked real close with Rod at Power Sports 1. That's been one of my dad's best friends growing up. And then he started Power Sports 1, and then we ended up signing with that time, signing with Yamaha.
Yeah.
So it just made everything worked really well. We had people from out of state. We basically had a steady stream going. They would
Nice.
call Rod, order a car, he would bring it right to us and drop it off, and the customer would show up, and it would already be done a race car.
Damn.
Wow.
So we would strip them, build a cage, put all aluminum on it, seats mounted, window nets,
Yeah.
number plates, everything. Make it that you could,
ready to
when,
go.
when you show up,
Yeah.
you can go race.
Wow.
So
Good thing there's a track right down the road from your
Yeah.
shop.
Right.
So the
Give it a try,
team,
yeah.
the team you have working on yours and your dad's trucks, are they the same team that are working on other people's stuff too when they bring it in?
Yep.
Oh, damn, that's
Yep.
awesome.
So we fit it all in between there. That's what we do best is even though we can all build a truck if we had to, we all kind of know our role.
Yeah.
My dad and I are really good at getting them apart, getting them cut apart, getting tubes back in it, getting the everything laid out the way you want it to, and our guys are really good at finishing it from
Yeah.
there, because then we'll start the next project as they're finishing up that one, and it keeps the cycle moving and keeps everything rolling. It makes it work well. So prior to like the last 2 years, we've built just endless amounts of side-by-sides. I mean, they've been through the roof, from trail cars to guys that just don't feel safe in a stock cage that want a cage on a Can-Am, or want a cage on a Polaris, or want a cage on a YXZ, but still want the doors working, to guys that have wanted like dual sport ones where the door still works, but it has a door bar inside of it, and we build everyone custom to that person. So
That's
they
awesome.
come, they give us a general, they either come there and are sitting in it, and we measure how high they want it, and that's why everyone always asks us why we don't like CNC anything or have anything laser cut, or a lot of the tubes pre-done. Like, well, we build them to what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Every one of them. So it's been a lot of fun, and it keeps the off season humbling, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you're building cars for half the people we raced against in the beginning were cars that we built, and we also do suspension. So my dad's been like the suspension guru of the off-road world forever. So I would say in the beginning, 90% of the UTVs that I raced against, we did their shocks in our shop.
Yeah.
And are running the exact same thing we put in it. And there's a lot of people that have came up to us, and everyone has a different driving style, right? So it makes the vehicle work a little bit different. Mm-hmm. And they'll watch me out there, and they'll be like, oh, you did my shocks, and it don't look like it works as good as yours. Oh. It's like, well, everyone drives different for one.
Yeah.
Like, you may be hitting that wide open and smashing right into the next one, and I'm letting off because that looks like it hurts. So I'm just not going to do that.
Me. Why am I not winning?
Yeah. Yeah, literally.
Why are you still faster than me?
There's a lot of people that are like that.
Yeah.
And I always go with the same thing of, I don't want to beat someone because I had better equipment. I'd be happy if we all went out there in the exact same car every day and let the best man win. I want to be the best person that day, regardless of what the equipment is. I don't care if yours is even better than mine. I want to beat you.
Yeah.
And I just want to, like, hands down, like, I still to this day help a lot of people that I race against every single race. I race against them every weekend, and we battle door to door. This new kid that came in, Jeb Boodle, he's from the South, and they worked out of our shop. And we race against each other every week. So
that's a racer name there, dude.
Yeah. Jeb.
Yeah. That's a racer name, dude. I don't know. That's like you'd see that on like a motocross billboard or something.
Oh, yeah,
Jeb.
for sure.
For sure.
But we've rented our shop out to, or just gave our shop out to endless, the last 4 years somebody's worked out of it. And our shop's open right next door.
Yeah.
To the same door. And they walk in and out, and they get to see exactly what I'm doing week in and week out, and we go racing.
That is very unusual, because in the race world, a lot of that stuff is
secretive,
so top secret. Like I remember going to the the NHRA races with the Top Fuel guys and stuff. It's like they're, what they're doing in their tent and their trailer is like top secret, and they don't want like spotters and stuff going around trying to see what they're running with their clutches and all that crazy stuff. But it's pretty cool to see that, you guys are a little more open and definitely trustworthy. And I think it shows something a lot about the Midwest values that we have around here.
The off-road industry is its own, like in short course alone, because we all say the same thing. We're just like a family. Like, if you need parts, like in Pro 4, we'll share anything we can to make sure that everyone makes it out there on the track, and afterwards we'll square up. We'll figure it out. The next time I need something, I'm coming to you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna figure it out. It's like one of the only industries that are that way.
Yeah, I find it interesting you say that, like, no matter what equipment, like, you still want to win. So, like, even if it's a level playing field, everybody has the same car. Like, that's the attitude that, like, gets you ahead, right? It's not just like, I don't want something better. I want to beat them because I am the best, or because I know something, or there's a skill level that you haven't like attained yet. And I find that like really interesting versus like,
constantly pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
If you just watch you race, you and your dad too, you guys are just you're just different out there. Like, the track, you feel the track. Like, your dad drives a little bit crazier, but like, you guys are making smart moves, and the machine helps, of course, having a great machine, but it's really how you tune it and how you drive it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of it comes from the motocross background. Almost any motocrosser that has come into short course has done really well.
Yeah.
From Jeremy McGrath, Brian Deegan, go down the line. There's been a lot of motocrossers that have come in here. Ricky Johnson was really, really good. I think that the motocross background of being able to pick lines and being able to read jumps and read faces and all that is what transpires into the off-road world so much better. Where if you came from pavement, go-karting, that kind of thing, which is what a lot of the people have come from, is some sort of asphalt kart or car racing or so on or so forth, makes it really hard when they come into the track, because all they see is a bunch of dirt.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, okay, there's a hole there.
Different, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that we help that we'll go out testing with them, and they'll hit the same hole every lap, and you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Go around it.
Right.
I don't know. Just don't run through the same hole. Like, I don't care if you have to let off to go inside of it, or you let off and you go around it. Just don't drive through the same hole that is kicking your car sideways lap after lap after lap. And that's a thing that some people learn really quick and pick up on really quick. There's been kids that we've ran with that are really good at it and catch up on it right away.
Yeah.
And then there's been people that are we'll drive through it, the same spot, the same line every lap, and run the same lap time, and then come back and go, I don't know, I don't get it.
It's got to be the shocks you gave me.
Yeah, literally, it's got to be this or it's got to be that.
So, so you're saying it's pretty much a big family there, right? With the whole Pro 4, the off-road racing. There's got to be some heated moments, though, right? Like when
absolutely.
there's crashes and shit that happen. So, one, I was always thinking too. You came in to the game at a young age, and you're beating people that are 40, 50, 60 years old. Was there ever something where people are looking at you like, how the hell is this 14 or 18-year-old kid beating me?
Oh, absolutely. I'll remember forever when my title sponsor, at this time, he was my title sponsor, but he also had his own team, and we raced against each other. And there was a racing incident on the track, which was completely like racing incident. The officials didn't make any calls on it, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And after the race, he's like, you need to come over here. And he brought me in his trailer and just screamed at me.
No kidding.
And I was 15 years old.
Because you beat him?
No, well, he was just mad that it didn't go the way for his team. It didn't favor his team.
Right.
I ended up coming out of it. We went into a turn, and I was inside or outside of the guy, and I don't remember who was trying to pass who, and we were like trying to both go for the same line, and his guy ended up just coming across, and it ended up spinning him sideways, and I got through, and it knocked him back a couple spots.
Right.
And he wasn't happy with it.
I believe they call that racing.
Yeah. It was 100% a racing deal.
Yeah.
And he brought me in his trailer and just screamed at me, like literally screamed at me. I'm like, holy man. And my dad ended up coming in like halfway through, and that was the last year the next year my dad separated it. And
No kidding.
It was like, yep, we're
going our
done.
own
We're
ways.
done doing this. You're coming underneath our awning, and this is going to be this.
I love that because attitude can ruin
so much.
You could be the best racer or have the best skills, but if you have the worst attitude, it is downhill
Or even
from there.
team in general.
Or team, yeah.
Yeah, if there's some guys on your team that
100%.
can't figure out how to keep it cool and keep a level head and are yelling at other people, it makes it really not fun for anybody, and it all comes back to you.
Yeah.
So like I said, we're very fortunate that our guys are my dad's mechanic Brad has been around it since before I've even been born.
Mm-hmm.
He's seen it all, and my mechanic is, if you can get him to hardly say a couple words on a normal basis, you're doing pretty well. So you don't really have to worry about it. But yeah, it's a big team thing, man, for sure.
I love it, and I love the off-road racing too. When we were walking around the pits at Crandon, you see all these young kids like when you were starting up, and they're so respectful.
That's the future of the sport right there, too.
I love it. And I don't know if it's the Midwest values, but there's this, I can't remember the kid's name. I don't know if it was in your tent or not, but it was in somebody that had all the trucks. And the kid was, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, super respectful. And it's like, the kid was like maybe 12 years old. And I just love that it's like a big community. You have respect, you have manners. And the kid probably went and dominated. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. He's some younger kid, but he's crushing it at a young age. But I just love that the Crandon in general, or this whole the
Midwest
off-road
industry
racing
is awesome. I mean, you
it's
get all these
awesome.
people from out of state that come here, and that's the first thing everyone says. Your people are so nice here. Like, everyone's so nice. And I think it eventually just like rubs off, right? Like, you spend all summer here, you realize you don't have to be a dick all the time. And you get,
Next thing you know, you're saying, and what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Giving them the Midwest goodbye that last 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So you guys are getting into more side-by-sides, or have been the last few years. I also see that you guys are starting to race King of the Hammers, too. Well, that's a whole different animal, right? Like that.
Yeah,
Can
King
you
of the
touch
Hammers.
on that a little bit? That's pretty cool.
King of the Hammers is crazy. So we got really big into the UTV industry, and then I've been doing it. King of the Hammers, I think this will be like my 5th or 6th year going into 2024. It's always in February, so it's hard to remember the date because you feel like it's always the next year is the same year. But so going into it, it's crazy. If you've never seen it or never heard of it, you got to look it up. You got to look up King of the Hammers.
It is a brutal race. Like, I mean,
I've
I'll
never
let him
seen
explain it. He's the
Yeah.
one that's raced it.
So, like the UTV side, it was like 230 miles, I think, this year. And the first half is just desert. And the second half is rocks,
No kidding.
like rock crawling.
Big,
like
big rocks.
Like Crandon's Ultra 4.
Yeah. imagine what these are.
Yeah. So you go to like the Hammers, and you're just in all these valleys, and it's literally just boulders, like 5-6 times the size of the car.
Yeah.
And you're finding ways to go up and around them and over them, and
No kidding.
it's they consider it the toughest race in the world.
Mm-hmm. So you have a spotter with you during that race, right?
Yep, you have a co-rider with you,
Okay.
and he's there to winch,
Yeah.
basically.
Oh, okay.
Between reading the GPS and then when you get to some of the really nasty rock sections, if you have to winch, he gets out, runs a winch line for you, and
So
winches you up.
so you said it's how many miles?
It all varies every year because they change the course every year. So it's never the same course.
Oh, okay.
But it's anywhere from 180 to 250 miles.
That's insane because even when people are at Crandon on that, not the one in the rocks in the back, the one on the course, even people are popping tires there.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't imagine.
So we run a spare.
Oh, you do? I was going to say,
Yeah.
there's got to be like, you could be out in the first
Spare
mile.
wheels, too. I'm sure you got U-joints and just basic stuff you can change on
Where do
the
you guys
trail.
do this at? Is that like
It's
down
in Johnson Valley, California.
Okay.
Right outside Palm
You
Springs.
should have Brent.
You can
insert
fly
a
into
clip
Palm.
of King of
Yeah.
Hammers
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
sure this is
podcast.
sick.
You
Yeah.
should. You can fly into Palm Springs if it's a huge industry
Yeah.
show. Like they allow vendors, they allow everything. Basically every manufacturer is there. Almost
That's awesome.
majority of the energy drink companies have some sort of display. Every UTV manufacturer is there. Ford's there, Toyota's there, Chevy's there.
It's definitely
Like,
growing in popularity. I don't think
Yeah.
it ever used
Yeah,
to be that big. Like,
it's
but now
100K plus people,
Yeah.
and it's almost 2 weeks long. Like you
Damn.
live on a lake bed for 2 weeks.
No kidding.
It's terrible.
So how long does it,
It's terrible.
how long does it take to get through a track, say 150 miles?
Well, we start at 8, and the last couple years, my buddy Kyle has won it. He's been in before noon,
No
or at
shit.
noon.
Damn.
And that's like
4
a perfect
hours?
run. That's like a
Yeah.
perfect
Damn.
run. Yeah. So
That's
we'll
not bad at
average the
all.
first half. We'll average anywhere from 60 to 90 miles an hour,
Yeah.
and then the second half is usually only 30 miles.
Yeah.
But it's so slow going through the rocks. Like
Mm-hmm.
low gear, we run 35s on our UTVs.
Yeah.
On a UTV.
Damn.
On a
That's
UTV.
insane. So that's the crazy part of the race is that the first half is fast,
Right.
And then the second half is slow and technical,
Yeah.
but you in the same vehicle.
You have
Right.
to run
lot-
a very versatile.
Exactly.
vehicle,
A
yeah.
very this vehicle is
That's
able to
qualified for top speed and for rock crawling, which are two very opposite.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing people were not even talking about is, dude, what if you got a shit?
You don't.
I mean, that's 4 hours, man. What if you
yeah.
gotta take it-
So
You
Right,
got
like-
shit every 4 hours?
Well, I'm just saying, what if you had a
dude,
big
so
breakfast?
there is a
like,
lot of people
damn.
that if they break, you'll see a dude pinching one in the bushes like all day.
Might as
I
well
mean,
get
I'm
it
just
done.
saying, like,
Right? Or like their mechanics working on their car and the driver's standing
He's out there.
over in the bushes or vice versa. But majority of us wear like at least a pee tube.
Oh,
and
you have to, yeah.
Tape it to your shoe so you don't pee in your other shoe. It's the biggest problem. I've
Not
seen
cool.
people that leave like a big piece of the tube hanging
Yeah.
out. And when your heels are sitting on your floorboard, it'll actually twirl up. And my one buddy pissed in his other shoe from it. So we've learned that you
That's
got to
great.
tape it down to your shoe. But I will tell you, the hardest thing is even though you know you can pee without pissing yourself, a lot of guys will just piss themselves.
Yeah.
Because they can't pee with the tube thing on.
Mm-hmm.
But you're so strapped in and so tight, it's almost impossible. Like, it is the mentally hardest thing you've ever done.
You're concentrating on pissing, but you're also concentrating on the track.
Yeah, you're
You're
like
going 100.
Yeah, and everything's
people can't even
pinched
piss in
so
public.
right? They think I'm gun shy.
Yeah, no kidding.
So then you think you got everything just pinched tight, like
Yeah.
you're sucked so tight. You're like doing anything you can. You ever tried to pee like sitting down, strapped? in something?
I
It'd be
peed
freaking
driving
hard.
one time, and let me tell you,
Yeah.
You
did
gotta
not go
truly
great.
have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like halfway up on my seat,
Yeah.
trying to like get the bottle at the right angle. It's not easy.
No.
It's mentally like
For
tough.
sure. See,
And
it's
then-
those little things that people don't think about,
Yeah,
man.
and then the tube runs down through your leg in your suit, so you 100% think you're pissing yourself
Oh,
every
for
single
sure.
time.
Oh my
Yeah.
Because you
God.
feel it go all
Gotta
the way
be
down your leg.
A strange sensation.
At that
for
point, you
sure.
probably
So
don't even
weird.
care. Like, dude, get it out. You
It's
know?
so weird. Like,
How bad do you want to fucking win?
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Stop
That's
thinking
absolutely-
about it and get that foot on the floor. Yeah.
You look for when do we get to the lake bed? Because every time you cross this big lake bed
Yeah.
at one point, and it's like 2 or 3 minutes one way, and
Yeah.
then you got to turn around, you got to come back, and it's just perfectly smooth.
Oh,
you
there
don't
you
have to
go.
look for anything.
Squeeze it out.
So it's like, all right, Blake Betts here. Hang on. Yep, that's exactly where we need to be.
That's awesome.
But
So does that track change, because obviously like it's boulders and like probably larger rocks? Does it change as more drivers go across it?
yeah, absolutely. It changes day by day. So it's the biggest race and party. 80% of the people come out there with their Jeep, with whatever, and then during the day, the rock trails are like guarded and they're closed, but at night everything's wide open. So the spectators will watch it, and then at night they'll be like, "Oh,
They go
remember that
Yeah,
section
that's a
that
good
we
place to
saw that
party."
looked really hard? We're gonna go there, and we're gonna go just hammer it." And you'll show up the next day, and it won't be anything like you pre-ran it.
No
And you
kidding.
won't even know how to. You'll just have to guess how to get through it, because they'll actually, like, big cars will hook to really big rocks to
Right.
winch off their stuff if they're stuck, and they'll pull the rocks down.
Oh, yeah.
And next thing you know, there'll be a huge rock in the
Well,
hole, like
yeah.
in the course. They have this one. It's called Backdoor, and it's like this straight down drop. Try to go up it. Well, they'll dig it out till it's 15 feet high. So then when you
Right.
go to drop off, you fall down in this hole, and then you got to come back out.
Come out, yeah.
And most people will just stuff it and flip over right there.
Damn.
And at night, this is some of the craziest things I've ever heard and or saw. Is one year, I don't know who started it or how they started it. Is you can drink, do whatever you want, right? So they're trying to get people to go up it, and of course a bunch of drunk people yelling at you.
God.
And then if you gave up, they would all just whip dildos at you.
Had to have been someone from Wisconsin. Dude.
There
A
would
group
be
of Green Bay guys for
100
sure.
dildos all of a sudden just like and then it was like rats running back in there once the guy got out of there
Yeah.
to go pick one
Go
back
get
up.
all their dildos back.
Well, just go grab one, right, and run up there. So the next guy comes, you can throw that at him. It was
Damn,
like
not only
funny
do you
as
have to, you have a hard track to race, you have to piss, but you're also getting
gotta
dildos.
dodge-
Yeah.
you gotta dodge
Damn.
dildos,
you got to
too.
dodge
Yeah.
a dildo or
Sounds
two.
like an
Next
electric
day on that
time.
racetrack, bunch of dicks everywhere. Yeah. Oh,
I think that
man.
should be at our bucket list.
You guys should totally go.
100%.
That would be
pretty
sick,
awesome.
yeah.
But one cool thing is like during the day when you guys are racing, you can like follow along
Yeah.
and like meet at spectators
Spectator
watch
zones.
at
Yeah,
different,
that's cool.
at different points in the track. So
Yeah.
like you can watch the lake bed or whatever, and then you can go to the rock climbing section
Yeah.
and go watch there. Like that's pretty fucking cool.
That sounds sick.
Yeah. it
Yeah,
does.
and they have like remote pits, like all different remote pits, and then they have the live stream going, and they actually have a home base called Hammertown. That's where
I like
all your
that.
all
Yeah.
your all your
Getting
vendors
hammered
are
in
in there,
Hammertown.
all
That's
your
all the
food's in
hammerheads
there.
are.
Yep, all your food's in there. They have a jumbotron with a huge fire, so you can sit around
That's
there and
awesome.
watch it if you want. Basically anything
sounds
you
pretty
want to
sick.
do.
This sounds like a great
Yeah,
time.
get drunk, just sit there.
Yeah.
Monster puts on like a stage,
Oh, that's cool.
concert every night. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Damn.
It's 100K people.
When does it typically take place?
February.
February?
When
Shouldn't
it's
be too
shitty
hot.
here.
Too hot there,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's crappy here, so
Yeah.
we'll go out to California.
It ain't great there either.
Yeah.
No, it gets cold in the desert at nights.
Yeah, it gets cold at night, but it's 60s, 70s.
Can you
during the day.
imagine the TSA with everybody going there with dildos in their bags?
Well, they all drive their campers and their
Yeah,
buggies
I think
and
most people are
stuff
driving out there.
Yeah.
So you got to get there with
Yeah,
your,
they're
with your
haul-
rig.
hauling
A trailer full
trailers.
of dildos.
You
You
can,
know what we should start
Just
selling
bring some.
We should start selling dildos out there.
yeah. Until like they've already went to a new trend, and then you guys are just
Yeah,
guys
they
that
just showed up with a bunch of dildos. That was just a weird group.
Fucking weirdos. Yeah.
Those Viper guys are fucking weird, dude.
They showed up first time here with a bunch of dildos.
Yeah.
So you run the side by sides for that. So what's like the big class for that? Is Ultra 4s? Are those the biggest trucks? That
UTVs are the biggest class.
Biggest class,
We'll have
okay.
over 100 cars.
Damn.
And then Ultra 4s for the 4400 class is like the top dogs. They're like basically knockoffs of a Pro 4 running 44s.
on fucking steroids?
Yeah,
Mhm.
but very similar drivetrain, very similar everything through and through.
Yeah.
Other than they got engine package is all real similar. They run bypass shocks, everything just like a Pro 4. They just stack them on 44s, try to make them narrow, put 2 seats in it, and go
Yeah.
run.
Mhm.
So
They're a
you're
beast.
saying this is in February. You race that also, like, and you're saying you have an off season. When's the off season?
Yeah,
There
what
is.
that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
in
when is it?
between,
Yeah,
in
right?
between all of them.
Like
Nope.
right now, I guess. So you don't do dirt bikes or anything now anymore.
Nope. I can't get hurt.
I was gonna say you probably don't want to risk getting hurt
Yeah.
and mess up your season.
But instead, I go up to the cabin and go surfing and wakeboarding, and end up tearing my ACL wakeboarding instead.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Damn. When was
it
that?
cool? Was
2
it
years
cool
ago.
at least?
Yeah.
It was an epic
Oh,
crash.
dude, we have a lot of fun. I didn't even crash. I just landed, went
Yeah.
wake to wake, and messed up when I landed. It landed into another wake, and it just hyperextended my knee when I landed, and it tore my ACL.
Yeah.
Some shit's unpredictable.
Yeah,
It just
like,
happens.
You try to go do something else that's like outside of motocross, where you're prone to get hurt,
Right.
right? Eventually, and then you end up getting hurt on the water, screwing
Yeah,
off on the
regardless
boat.
of if it's like a fun action thing, I feel like you can get into a car accident on the street. Like,
Yeah, you can slip and fall on the ice and
Yeah.
tear your rotator cuff or something, trying to catch yourself.
Right.
And
I mean, I slept funny the other night.
following Dad and fall off a chair. So
Yeah, right?
yeah.
Do you ever wish you would have stick to motocross?
No, not at all.
No.
No, motocross, I love it still to this day.
Yeah.
Watch all the races, such a passion for it. But it's such like a 1 in maybe 100 or 1 in 50 people actually make it these days. I
Yeah.
mean, and you have to give up everything. So when I was young, I went to school 1st and 2nd grade. And then
Yeah.
I was homeschooled 4th and 5th grade. And then I went back to public school 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. And then I never went to school again. I did it
Let's
all
go.
online
Wow.
because I would do school in the morning, and then I would ride a moped from our house to our shop, and then
Yeah.
I'd work.
That's awesome.
So, and then in the motocross scene, it's the same way. You ride and train every single day. That's
Yeah.
what you have to do. You can't go to school. You have to be able to leave on Wednesdays or Thursdays to go to the track,
Right.
and you're riding and training every single day. You give up everything to do it,
Yeah.
and then one crash ends it all, and you
Yeah.
literally have nothing. So that's the great thing about off-road is, yeah, there's a lot of time and dedication to it, and it takes that to be competitive and to be up at the top, but at least you're in a cage. Like
Yeah, that's
some of the
true.
worst things is what's happened to my dad already, and he's lived to fight another day and race on from it. So
Yeah.
at least you're in a cage a little bit, and you can make a living doing it if you do it right and
sure.
smart, and it's one of the most fun things you'll ever do.
Those roll cages are nuts. Like this year, for that final race, that dude right off the first turn, there's a nasty crash.
That yellow truck,
Yeah.
that was my old truck.
Oh, was it?
One of them, yeah.
So he came like too far off the outside, and he hit like a tire that was like just designated where the track ends.
Yeah.
So he must not have saw because it was dusty or whatever, and his truck just tumbled.
Yeah,
And he hops
hit a
out of
track
it.
check.
He's like, "This good to go."
He raced
like-
it last weekend or
Oh,
2
did
weeks
he?
ago.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
Shit,
That's
straighten her back
insane.
In
out,
Arizona.
and out you go.
dude, they're all chromoly,
Yeah.
TIG welded. You don't even need to usually straighten them out. They're
Yeah.
good. It's so much cosmetics. I mean, the bodies are built to just rip off, right? And all we have is flat stock holding the body on.
Yeah.
So it'll crush the body and it'll look like it's all messed up. And you pull it off, slap a new
good to
body,
go.
straighten out
Frames
the
are good, yeah.
straighten out the body hangers, and go run.
Wow.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah.
I was going to ask you before, from like you just started building another truck now. So like, how long does that take if you guys would like stay at it?
3 months, we'll have it. My dad's truck's good, and then my mechanic was getting my old truck ready for the guy that's gonna come get it, and then our other mechanic started on the new chassis. So they're getting ready to put the engine and tranny in it today and get
That's
it mocked
awesome.
up.
Sweet.
Does it take time to kind of feel a groove for it? Like
Yeah.
Well, that's why you got the track in the back. You can do some test runs and stuff. But
Well, it's a real similar copy to my truck now.
yeah.
It's a gonna be almost identical copy to my dad's truck. So
Yeah.
that was the good thing about it. That's what made my truck being easy to sell it. I drove my dad's truck all summer. He was hurt. My cousin was filling in. He doesn't know what's right or wrong, right?
Right.
He's never raced a Pro 4. So I was testing it more than anybody was. So I already know for a good part of what the truck's exactly going to be like.
Right.
So that made it easy when the opportunity came to sell mine. I actually had mine sold to a buddy in New Zealand first,
Oh, nice.
and he was going to come back over here and run. And then the hardest part is it's hard to get anything, right?
Yeah.
Like everything we have is custom. Any radiator you need, heat exchanger, rack, so on and so forth, you got to order it if you can't build it. So that's why we build so much of the stuff, and it's 3 months out.
Yeah.
to do anything.
Right.
So that's what makes it really hard to build a new truck. It's not that we can't sell them. It's that you can't build one again in time.
Yeah.
Like this year, our first race, instead of being in June, is in March. So it pinched our time slot down a ton.
Yeah.
And then we have KOH in the middle of it yet.
Yeah.
So it makes everything real tight, the turnaround time. So they're working hard at it,
Yeah.
getting it ready to go. And
In
It'll
March.
be-
So that's one. I see you guys run those trucks on ice once in a while. That's pretty fucking cool.
so we used to do Frozen Rush.
yeah.
Red Bull put it on.
Yeah.
And
Sounds like that's a great name.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
a great name
Dude,
for
it
an
was,
event.
it was crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever been a part of. I only got to do it once. My dad got to do it 3 times, I think, and then they quit doing it because they said it's the hands down most expensive event if they have ever put on in Red Bull
For Red
history.
Bull? Oh, really?
So
Holy
they-
shit.
that
They
must
do
have
a lot
been-
of stuff.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do a
that must
lot
have
of
been
stuff,
expensive.
yeah.
So they would rent out a whole ski hill.
Oh.
The whole ski hill. They'd have shut down one half of it, and they built like a short course track
So
out
this is
of
like
it, out of
Colorado,
snow.
Rockies, somewhere.
Maine.
Maine.
Yep.
East Coast. Okay.
And they would saltwater freeze. They'd build like jumps,
Right.
and then they would saltwater freeze them, and they had these custom studded tires made, and it
No
was bracket
shit.
racing, and there was an over under and everything. It was freaking nuts.
I
That
see
would've been
videos. It looks fucking awesome.
Oh, it was
Like,
like I said, one of the coolest hands down events that I've ever been a part of.
Would Crandon ever put some on like that?
So Crandon's talked about it a
I was gonna say
bunch,
that you
a
got
lot
the
of
track,
times.
and you
yeah,
got the
just
snow.
Freeze the track.
Right.
Yeah, and they got the snow, and there's a good chance they could shrink it down and run like the short track
Yeah,
with it,
for sure.
or something like that. And it's only dirt underneath,
Right.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the jumps are already there. It ain't like you're gonna have to build
Exactly.
a jump. Just freeze it and
Right.
see what happens.
You'd have
But
to maybe consider how it's going to affect the track, come spring or whatever.
Yeah, but it's
but
dirt.
that's
You can
about
move
it.
it all.
Yeah.
You can fix
Yeah.
it all. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
the hardest part is keeping the snow alive.
Yeah.
Like
For sure.
they only did I think 10 trucks or 12 trucks, and it was only one bracket racing, so 2 on the track at a time.
Right.
You'd only do 2 laps, and by the time we got to the end,
Oh, it's
it
probably
was
deep.
destroyed. It
Yeah.
was so deep. It was just powder. There'd
Yeah.
be huge snow holes in it and
That's a
stuff,
good
and it
point.
wasn't even fun to drive on.
Yeah.
At the end, you look like you've never raced before,
Right.
because it wouldn't turn, it wouldn't slide. It'd be like racing in the mud
In a
almost.
straight line, yeah.
Where the first couple guys, where the track was frozen and hard, it was the most traction you'd ever have.
Oh, I bet.
It was just glued to the track.
Yeah.
And then by the 4th guy, it was getting and by the end, it was a mess.
Yeah.
Too
Those
much
things
power.
are
I was
too
gonna say,
power,
like, we
yeah.
used to go to the snowmobile races in Eagle River, and they would clean the tracks up and stuff, but those are just little snowmobiles.
Yeah, little
not
tracks.
900 horsepower trucks. That are
So
like,
we held our side by side sports. We own side by side sports.
Yeah.
Oh, nice,
The
yeah.
UTV series.
Mhm.
We closed it now, but we ran it for like 3 or 4 years, and we held 2 races at Eagle
Yeah.
River, and we would run it just the UTVs alone. We'd run it right down to the dirt,
No
shit.
kidding.
Wow.
Yeah.
and they're just running AMA
Yeah.
studs.
hmm But you wouldn't. I mean, that was just oval track though, right?
No.
Oh,
We
you
used the
were-
infield.
oh, you
We
did?
froze the infield and froze the snowcross jumps
Oh damn.
and everything. We had one guy one year. We had a really good base. We were very fortunate that we got a good base and
Yeah,
had good
yeah.
people and,
Cold
and
weather, yeah.
cold weather for the most part.
hmm
But we had a lot of prior knowledge from Frozen Rush and everything
Yeah.
about how to do it.
Mhm.
And we had one guy, it was the last race of the day, and he ended up, it was like fluff on top a little bit and then a nice hard surface. And the surface was like a foot thick. That it was running on top of, and it was just snow and dirt underneath it.
Yeah.
But once it got caught, it tried to like pull it like
Pull 'em under.
underground,
Dig itself
in,
like dig it under the snow. It was crazy.
wild.
Yeah. That's freaking cool.
Even with that racing, you're solely reliant on the weather too. Some years our snow sucks.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And they would always make us be the last event because we wrecked the ice so bad. So the last year or 2 years, it'd be 40s during the day. So half of it, we'd be pushing water out of some
Yeah.
spots. The ice was still there,
hmm
but it would get down
Just
to
mush.
Mashed potato snow.
spray,
Right.
basically
right.
spray and slushy ice, and we
Yeah.
called it King of the Elements.
I see
Got to
that.
be
Yeah, that's
got to be a
cool.
part of it.
I love it.
So
Yeah.
it was cool.
So what did you guys do? You just rented out the track then? Rent out the track, put
Yeah.
on the show. Did you
Yep.
have a lot of people that came there? Because I
Oh
know.
yeah, we had 100+ cars,
Oh really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Eagle River has it nice because they have indoor
seating.
seating and everything. That would be another ticket too. Is if it's a cold day here in Wisconsin. I mean, you offer beer and racing to any Wisconsinite, they're probably going to be there.
Yeah.
The
So-
jacket's off.
Yeah,
Yeah, the snow
I mean,
pants are on and it's hanging
they'll
down.
figure out a
yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if it ain't super bitter cold. Get them like 20 degrees or something like that, and they're gonna be there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Wisconsinites are dedicated.
Dude, I could see, especially on Crandon, the hill, you'd probably have people bringing their fishing sleds or whatever.
shanty?
The shanties.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That would be fun.
So you guys did that. What's next for the Greaves team? You got dabble in trophy trucks or desert racing?
We've done that already.
You have.
We ran the Mint in a trophy truck. We used to have Class 1 cars. That stuff's just, it requires such a big team to be able to do it. You have to have chase trucks. You have to have
Pre-runners and
pre-runners, crew to run all these different chase trucks. It's just not something that we're super interested in. Really, with the new series, there's a new short course series starting that took over. They took Crandon, so Crandon won't be champ anymore. It'll be this new series that's coming.
Interesting.
And they're out of Oklahoma, Jay, Oklahoma, where we ended. MAO, Mid America Outdoors is the owner, and it'll be by AOE or AEO or something like that. So that starts in March. We've only ever ran in the Midwest for the last 5-6 years.
Yeah.
So we start in June. We run Crandon, Bark River, ERX, all around here. Well, the first race is in Arizona.
Yeah.
So that'll be in March. And then we run Crandon, Bark River, ERX, Crandon. Then we go to Oklahoma, and then we end in Wheatland, Missouri. So the
damn.
series,
Wow.
and it expanded by 3 months or 4 months. So
right.
it's squeezed our off time down so much more that we probably won't do a whole bunch. I'm required to do King of the Hammers, and that takes a month because between prepping cars, you have to go out there. You're on the lake bed for 2 weeks, a solid 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So between prepping cars, driving there, it's 36 hours one way, 38 hours with 2 rigs, setting up there for 2 weeks, and then coming back and getting ready for the first short course race in March.
Yeah.
Like,
not much turnaround time.
not
there.
much turnaround time. So
That's a
we
big-
like to do UTV races in the off season, like for fun ones that are just fun. Like
Yeah.
my dad loves doing them. There used to be this Red Bull Scramble series.
Yeah.
We did a race in Michigan that was in the snow. That was cool. I went out to Kentucky, I think, and did a rock scramble. Like it was on a mountain through the rocks
No
and
shit.
down, up
Yeah.
and down. They do like just random stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't mean nothing but to have fun. So
Right.
we like
With-
doing
in those
events
big
like that.
rock crawlers, like they're just the cage and just massive tires.
Rock bouncers.
Rock
Yeah.
bouncers,
Yeah, those things are nuts.
Dude, those guys are insane.
Those
that
dudes
drive
are
those
nuts.
things.
Yeah. They're going up like
Well,
vertical.
just massive, these
boulders.
big, massive, big blocks with way
Yeah.
too much power. And like if they get hung up, they're just on the gas. It's just
Hold it
like
wide open.
smoking
Yeah.
all 4 tires and turn into wheels, hopefully to get it to catch, and boom, they take off.
Or
Yeah.
they crash.
Or they
Or they
crash.
crash,
And then
yeah.
when
Like
they
backwards.
crash, it's hard. They like freaking cartwheel down the hill.
Yep.
It's pretty
And
entertaining.
they land at
Yeah.
the bottom and take back off if they land on their wheels. Or
Yeah.
They're freaking nuts. Those dudes are crazy.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna do what they're gonna do.
No, hell no. So then you got this new
Serious?
series coming together, and then I mean, where does it go from there? Continue just dominating the Pro 4?
Yeah, I mean, eventually with our partners with Monster and Toyota, I would like to do some like the 24-hour Le Mans stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to do the Chili Bowl
Yeah, for sure.
in a midget. So those are still things on my bucket list that I want to do. I've done some pavement racing. My buddy and I did a 24-hour race at Mid Ohio
Yeah.
in a BMW, and that was a lot of fun. So we got some experience in that. So
It's never
see.
ending with the racing. I'm
It's
sure
never
there's
ending.
more
There's-
shit coming up
There's
too.
always
like-
stuff you
oh,
can
for
do
sure.
and can and can't be doing, and
Yeah.
new stuff coming around. Like the UTVs make everything so broad.
More accessible too.
Yeah, like I just obviously got back from New Zealand. I was there for 2 weeks, and they have a 1,000 there, a 250, and a 700 desert race. So I'm gonna build a car and ship it there.
No shit.
And,
Let's
yeah,
go.
So my buddy lives there, and he's gonna keep it at his shop, and he already races, and
Yeah.
we're gonna team up and do a couple
That's so
races over
sick.
there. And
So sick.
it makes it awesome being with Polaris that they have such a diverse line of cars.
Yeah.
that you can about have anything you need from a Ranger with a cab and heat and
Yeah.
AC and a stereo to go drive around here and drink beer with your friends to
Yeah.
a Pro R or Turbo R that you can almost race with just putting a cage on
literally
it.
a race car.
Seriously.
Yeah, so
Wow.
we're
Yeah,
gonna do some of that.
He was in New Zealand saying that everything was upside down or
Backwards.
backwards. The light switches to go on, it was down.
Yeah. And you drive on the wrong side of the road.
Everybody
the
You
walks,
sit on the
opposite
wrong
side.
side of the car.
everybody
Yeah.
walks backwards.
Dude, basically, the toilets, one of their biggest things is they say we have too much water in our toilets. Their toilets don't have like any water in them, maybe a cup. and
Oh,
that's
dude,
it.
good
They're
luck.
like,
Flush-
Their shit don't stink or what?
Good luck flushing his down, dude. No way.
They said they didn't want the splashback. I'm like, well, I
You're
don't know
going to
what
regret
tell
some
ya.
other shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
right?
you're digging a hole for yourself there.
That's what they're all about, I guess.
New Zealand. I thought you were over there hunting or something. So
Just
you're
hanging out.
hanging out.
Just
Okay.
hanging out.
Hanging
That's
out with
freaking cool.
penguins and everything.
Yeah, we caught a penguin.
I saw
caught a
that.
penguin?
We caught a penguin, yeah. And my buddy that lives there, they've never even seen one. Like, they've seen them out on, like, islands and stuff, but that's it.
Huh.
And we got home from one of the nights, and we're driving up the driveway, and it was standing on the driveway. So we jumped out and chased it into a bush, and then caught it. It was only about this big,
Yeah,
but
it
it was
was little.
full grown.
Yeah.
It was
Oh,
a-
no kidding.
Yeah, it's called, like, a blue penguin or something.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Well, that doesn't happen every day.
right? Right? And even he's like, that's the first time I've ever caught one or
kidding, yeah.
touched one or anything, and
Yeah.
he's lived there his whole life.
Yeah.
So it was pretty
That's
sweet.
so sick.
It's awesome, dude. You've accomplished so much so far, and even seeing like the journey that your dad's built, and you have 5 championships already, right?
I have 8 in Pro 4.
You have 8. No, so like I was reading, your dad's got 7 total of something. You have 5. Is that like?
so I have 8 now.
Oh, you have 8 now. Oh, damn.
Yep,
that's
so
been
he's got 7
old
Pro
article,
4.
so you already passed
yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
He's
Check
got
the dates next
Yeah,
time.
no shit.
7 Pro 4 championships, and I'm the only one now with 8.
Oh, so you already passed them.
I got him there, but he has 100 wins just in Pro 4 alone. The
Oh,
Pro 4
damn,
class
yeah.
alone.
Yeah,
And I think I just broke 100 career pro wins the last race of the year.
let's go, dude. It's
So-
awesome. You've been crushing it. Like it's awesome what you do in the community too, and even just your work ethic too. Being a part of the team, like it's night and day. Your team versus everybody else's. Like there's just
Yeah, man, I
something different
appreciate it.
about it, and the way you guys race too, the camaraderie that you and your dad have, like it's awesome. And what you guys are doing is cool. It's gonna be sick to watch what you do from here.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's been an adventure for sure. Not everyone can say that their career was trying to beat their dad.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
right? Coming into it, he was the top dog, the winningest driver in short course history
Yeah.
still to this day. And then being on the same team, and then the goal is to beat your dad every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And then you got to, not only do you have to try to have that mental side of it, but then be able to come back to the shop and work together and like
Fix each
it's
other's
still a
trucks and, yeah.
family, right? We still
Yeah.
got to go to Christmas dinner and
Mhm.
and go out to eat together and whatever and
Some
be
silent
able.
dinners.
Yeah,
After
honestly,
he wins the race.
it's been. I couldn't ask it to be any better. There's
Yeah, it's
only ever
awesome.
been one time ever since we started this that we actually like my mom had to sit us down and yell at us both like, no, this
Yeah,
this ain't
this ain't
how
gonna
it's gonna
happen.
be. This is what it is, and this is how we're gonna sort this out. And it's only ever been one time, so
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that we have a really good relationship between each other. And I moved out when I was 18 and just started living on my own, and I think that really
For sure.
helped it.
Mhm.
Helped it because you're not going back to the same house after
No.
a good day or a bad day. But more than that, I think the way he just portrayed it to me from the beginning of one team, no matter what, we're not going to take each other out because it doesn't benefit either one of us, has made it just that much easier.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys got the same goal in mind, and you're
Sa-
working towards the same thing.
Yep,
So
working towards the same goal, and it all coming out of the same budget and the same funds makes it a lot easier to justify it and wrap your head around it. Like,
Mhm.
we got to be smart here.
Oh, for sure.
And you're having a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That
I mean,
helps a lot.
how many people can go race against their dad like door to door
Yeah.
in
Right.
one of the sickest sports that
Seriously.
there is? Just hands out, like no gloves on, wide
Yeah.
open, hitting jumps, throwing slide jobs on each other, rubbing each other,
Yeah.
and just having a blast doing it and being able to like come off. That's some of the best. It doesn't matter what place you get when you come off the track and you just had like a beat down raw battle with somebody is some of the most
Oh,
fun
for
you'll ever
sure.
have.
Yeah.
Especially when it's your dad.
Yeah.
It makes it that much better. But
Mhm.
in general, just being able to go out there and have a killer battle makes it so much fun. Like you
Yeah.
don't even care what place you got. You just went out there and had some of the most fun you possibly could. And a 4,000-pound, 900 horsepower vehicle, or even honestly the
amazing.
UTVs, right?
That's what I told him, like, before we
be scared as
first
shit.
came in here. I'm like, I thought he had a pretty cool job, but he takes the cake. He's
Yeah.
got the coolest job in the world.
Yeah.
For real.
It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm happy to be able to continue to share our story and have fun with it.
Yeah, dude.
That's so sick.
Only onwards and upwards from here. Like, you guys are
Absolutely.
going to continue to crush it, and excited to watch you. And anyone listening, like, if you want to watch CJ and your dad run, recommend, if you're in Wisconsin, Crandon
Well, not
is
even if you're in
electric.
Wisconsin. Come to Crandon.
Come to
Yeah,
Crandon.
literally-
Watch
Watch these
Labor
guys
Day
race.
weekend.
You'll not regret it.
I haven't been to any of the other races that you have in the United States, but something about Crandon is electric.
Yeah.
Like,
It is. It's
that
pretty cool.
that weekend is so much fun.
I'll tell you, I don't think it matters what your interests are, what you do, and whether you
doesn't.
like racing, don't like racing. Crandon has everything. I know people that have never watched a race at Crandon and have went for 6-8 years already.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Never watched a single race.
Wow.
They go there with campers with all their buddies.
Yep.
They set up. They hear the racing going on in the background,
Mm-hmm.
but there's bands every night. There's concerts
It's
going
awesome.
on. There's astronomical amount of alcohol being drank.
There will be no shortage of beer.
There will be no shortage of any alcohol form, and the nightlife is just, it's like you said, it's
It's
electric.
awesome.
It's something, there's something for everyone to do. Like
That's cool.
they got stuff for kids, RC tracks,
Yep.
stuff going on for kids all day long, and then at night, you get
Party
to
on.
go get on in the fun wheel or go downtown, and they got shuttles running back and
Yeah.
forth that are free, and it's
That's cool.
you will not go away going that
For sure.
leave going this wasn't fun. If
Yeah.
you've never been, you got to go.
If you're in Crandon, two things you'll hear are rear diff and CJ Greaves on the loudspeaker. A lot.
That may happen. I race a lot.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only person that gets more laps than the water truck every weekend.
Yeah. What's also amazing too is everybody will be partying till 2, 3 in the morning. Oh, I kind of just answered my own question there, but they'll still put their chairs out at 6 in the morning. But now I figured it out. They're probably just done partying and they put their
They
chairs
just
out when
walk
they're
their
done.
truck,
Yeah.
right? What better way to walk it off?
Yeah,
Get
exactly.
go for a walk to sober up a
Yeah.
little bit. Put your chair out and
Dude, we were there at 6:30 a.m. to put our chairs out to get a good spot.
Full.
It was packed.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell? Because they make you pick them up after the day. You can't
Yeah.
keep them overnight, and it was
Which-
packed.
which
Like-
to me is
Right.
why. I
Same
guess
there, yeah.
I guess some people get mad because they only come for Sunday,
Mhm.
and then it doesn't
Oh.
matter what time they get there. The whole hill's full
Right.
from all the people that are there Saturday. So
Yeah.
it sounds like to me you should just get there a day
Get
earlier.
earlier,
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe
Stay
get-
the whole weekend.
Yeah, come camping.
Well, cool, man. It was awesome having you here. Thank you also for coming to Viper Fest. It was sick watching you burn out the Pro 4 wheel.
Yeah,
it was
that
so
was
cool.
that was so much fun.
I DM him, I'm like, hey, man, you want to come to Viper Fest and, bring the Pro 4 if you want to burn them? He's like, I'll burn every inch off the fuckers. He's like,
Hell
all right,
yeah.
game on, let's go.
Now we got to make it bigger and better next year.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's a
the
great
plan.
plan.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It had
Um,
so much hype after this year. I had so many people that are like, what? Where was this even happening? Like,
Yeah.
what was going on? It was like this big hidden secret.
Yeah.
Which,
We tried to get it out there,
Yeah.
but now
Yeah.
that we had one event, I think next year is going to be huge.
oh, yeah. I
Like,
mean, it takes one, right?
It does.
'Cause everyone's like, Viperfest, what is it?
Exactly.
Right? What is it? Like, just in Green Bay? Why have I never heard of it? It must not be anything that if
Exactly.
I've never heard of it, right?
Yeah.
So now that you had one, and like the vibe and everything
Yeah.
was there, and we all I think had more than enough fun throughout
Yeah.
it all, and it has a lot of hype to it. I think come next year we're gonna be looking for room to
Yeah.
between cars and people
And burnout pit.
and burnout
Yeah,
pit.
got to make that bigger.
We
a
gotta
little
make
bit.
that a little bit bigger. And
Yeah.
I'll have to get some more blocks. We can
Yeah.
make it bigger.
we can make her bigger. It's gonna
But,
be sick.
It was
Get
awesome.
Some stands in there next year so people
Bleachers?
can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to jump over anybody.
Yeah, right. But yeah, thanks for coming on. We like to have always the guest give the listeners one piece of advice through all your journey, through your upcoming of racing at 1 year old.
2.5.
What have you learned? What's some piece of advice that you could offer somebody that's maybe racing, start a business, whatever it may be?
The biggest thing is be humble, and you're only the champion till the next day. I mean, that's the way I've always looked
Love
at
it.
it. Even though you're technically the champion until you get beat. If that's the mentality you have, whether it's anything in life, there's always someone working at it to beat you. And if you don't put in the work to stay ahead, there's going to be someone that's going to knock you down, and then you're going to get caught with your pants down and going, oh, man, and scrambling. So if you have the mindset that you're only the winner or the champion that day, and the next day you're even playing field again, it keeps you motivated, keeps you digging, and,
that.
You should be able to stay on top.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's great advice.
Love that.
Awesome.
Where can everybody find you on Instagram?
CJ
Social
Greaves,
media?
33.
CJ Greaves?
Yes, sir.
It's Greaves.
Correct.
Cool.
You got it.
Well, thanks, man.
Appreciate
it
you
was a
guys for
pleasure.
having me.
Yeah,
Thanks
absolutely.
for coming on.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Thank you.